Hi, I'm back with another Friday update. This is my sixth Friday since the pandemic began, and I'm going to start by talking a little bit about what happened this past Saturday. Parliament met on Saturday to fix the Liberals' emergency financial measures that were already passed once, but there were many problems with the bill that rendered the announcement that they had made impossible to legally fulfill, so the bill had to be fixed. It was done so safely with 32 MPs in the chamber, each party in its correct proportion. So we've demonstrated how Parliament can function. Parliament can still work. We can get together with proper physical distancing and ensure that the Prime Minister and ministers of the Crown be compelled to confront difficult but pertinent questions from opposition MPs from across the country. So this happened successfully this past Saturday. There was a day-long debate. The bill ultimately was passed, so there were no delays. The government's aid measures came into law very quickly, went straight into the Senate and were passed there also after a brief debate. So we were able to debate the gaps in the government's response, their lack of preparedness, and to discuss the necessity of finding ways to safely and carefully reopen the economy. I've had a lot of emails and phone calls from people, and I'm doing my best to keep up to date. I've got a lot of calls from small business owners, many of whom remain outside the scope of any of the government's aid measures announced so far. Also, I've heard from students and seniors and near seniors, people in their 50s who have been unemployed because of the catastrophic state of our oil and gas industry, who are really struggling at this time. And so I've heard from many people, and I'm doing my best to get back to everyone that reaches out to me through my office. This past week, the Finance Committee met, and I participated in that meeting. I was on the video conference that the Finance Committee is meeting through, and I was able to ask some pointed questions to the Governor of the Bank of Canada. Right now, the Bank of Canada is engaged in a massive monetary expansion. We are seemingly now in an experiment into whether or not just huge swaths of the Canadian economy can be supported by the government. So the government, in response to the Bank of Canada, in the response to my question, confirmed that yes, they've created $200 billion, more or less out of thin air, to purchase government debt, new issues of both provincial and federal debt, as well as existing debt in the market. They are also supplying liquidity to the financial system and credit markets for corporate bonds, these kinds of things. So these are all measures that are designed to ensure that we do not have an economic collapse as a result of markets ceasing to function. So it's an important goal and a worthy goal, but at the same time, these are enormous, possibly transformative changes to public finance, and we're going to have to live with these decisions that are being made very quickly, which is another reason why it's so important to have parliamentary accountability from this government. So the Parliament is scheduled to resume on Monday. There are negotiations between the parties for what that is going to look like, but it is really important that ministers and the Prime Minister be regularly available and accountable to democratically elected MPs. It's not enough to simply have the Prime Minister come out and speak to the media in a relatively controlled environment. The Prime Minister needs to face Parliament, and so do the ministers. So we are going to continue to push for that. In the meantime, I encourage everyone to still stay safe, follow the health advisories of your local municipalities and your province, and we will really call upon this government to table a plan to get the economy back opened up again and to do it safely. Make sure that the safety of Canadians is the primary concern, but we just simply cannot continue to borrow money, print money, and support an entire economy of people that are not working. We are going to need to get people back to work.